American, and we are joined now by our American record holder in the marathon, your U.S. Olympic Marathon Trials runner-up, Emily Sisson, heading to a second Olympic Games. How's it feel?
I'm getting excited now that I'm here. Doing the team processing and everything, it's starting to feel real. Back in February, I was complaining after the race. Not complaining, but I was like, I have so much time. Like I'm not not that I wasn't excited, but I was just like, it doesn't feel real yet. And my husband's like, don't complain about that. Like, no, literally no one feels sorry for you. You qualified for an Olympics. Like, you just have to wait a bit. But it's starting to feel real now. So yeah, that's really exciting.
We saw Connor Mentz out here running the 10K and pushing the pace from the front. No temptation at all?
There's a small party that wants to be out there.
If anything, your name on the declarations or entry list would have just sent just a shiver down, I think, people's spines.
There was like a moment maybe a couple months ago I thought about it, but I love the track, but it always beat me up so much, and I'm just like so all in on the marathon right now. So like as hard as it is not to be on the track, I'm content with this plan of just like trying to see like what I can do on the roads.
Yeah.
So would you say that the track felt more physically taxing than the marathon?
I definitely got injured more.
Yeah.
So I
just
think
the speeds. Like, was it the speeds? Was it the types of workouts you like? What do you think it was?
I mean, you can get injured doing any type of training, but I do think it was the speed. Yeah. I'm sure the turns are part of it and the spikes are part of it as well. But I actually think it's just the paces I had to run. Like I don't know, for some reason, even when I touch those paces now in training, I can tell I need to like pull it back a bit. I start to feel like kind of tight and a bit tight after those workouts. So. As much as I do miss it, but I'm all in on this.
The CITIUS MAG team has joked that like your 2021 U.S. Olympic Trials 10K is like our Roman Empire. Like it's what we think about a lot. What was sort of, those workouts that you're referencing? What was it saying in training leading up to that race? And like as of right now, I know it's marathon training a little bit different, but like is that fitness very similar, leveled up?
Oh, thanks. It's definitely different. So I'm not doing the same kind of paces in practice that I did going into that race. That was my favorite race so far. I'm trying to top it, but that's like out of all the races I've run in my career.
It's going to be tough, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I just loved that one. Just like the implementing the race plan and things. Yeah, it was just so fun. So I'd like to have another moment like that in my career at some point. But I'm thankful for all the moments I have had so far. I've had a lot of good ones. So. What was your question again?
Just in terms of just like the training, like before that race, and like I guess like how does it compare to what you're doing now? Like, are you still sort of like impressing yourself?
Well, so I do, but in like different ways. Like I feel like I'm getting better at like right now running hills and like hilly tempos. Like I've seen like that improve a lot. In my long runs, I'm getting stronger at, but I'm not seeing like the same fast paces I did training for the 10K on the track. But I don't want to completely lose that either. Like I think it's important to hit 10K pace and 10K pace and half marathon pace and training, so that at the end of a race, like I can get my legs turning over. Yeah.
What have you made sort of like? I know you don't have to worry about it as much. Well, maybe a little bit. Just come the marathon, like World Championships next year. The standard for that is getting quicker.
Yeah.
In the 10K, like that's also kind of gotten to this point where like the standard's so hard, people are relying on rankings. Like you kind of came off of the track at the perfect time where it's like it wasn't like that all that much of a concern, right?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, seeing the standards on the track right now, I'm just like blown away by how fast it is, and I don't understand the whole world ranking system. Like I feel like I should, and I'm like in the sport, so I should understand it. So I can imagine how hard it is if you're not like a diehard fan trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you read the lap count on Wednesdays, and then there's just like 300 words by me just writing about like the 10K. Like I've been obsessing over it over the last couple of months.
I actually did read that because I'm still confused. But you did a good job explaining it.
Well, I mean, today I feel like I'm gonna have my calculator out in the middle of that 10K, just trying to figure out like, all right, like are they on pace? Are they not on pace? To like who's gonna be in the ranking quota and all that stuff. Like the sport was just so much easier like 5 years ago. It felt like.
Yeah, I do think it needs to be easier to explain and for people to understand. So they'll probably hope they like tweak things a bit. Like it's not a horrible idea, just like making it more easily understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because I don't know it either. So if we don't know it, it's going to be tough for a new fan trying to get the hang of it.
It's an easy way to kill 30 minutes during a track 10K broadcast.
A lot to talk about. Yeah.
So the last time I guess people saw you in action on a national broadcast was probably the marathon trials. How's training been going since then?
Yeah, it's been good, thanks. Yeah, it's been different though, like very different than the last 2 marathons I've done in terms of the course itself. We knew we'd have to change things, but also just something we kind of thought about, but not really. Like this is my 3rd marathon in, I don't know, like how many months has it been? I don't know why I'm asking you this.
Yeah.
Like you're keeping track. 3rd marathon in the last 10 months.
Yeah.
So I realize I do need to work on making sure I'm still moving well and like staying fresh enough. Like that I don't turn into like my stride doesn't turn in too shuffly, or I get too kind of beat up from just the miles. And like, yeah, so that's been kind of important for me, is to make sure I'm staying on top of that and focusing on still feeling good, which I know is kind of hard when you're marathon training, but it's important for me to feel like I'm moving well and feeling strong in workouts and not having to like feel like every workout's a complete grind. So so I've been focusing on that a bit too, this build up, just because it's the 3rd one.
Yeah, you got a sneak peek at the course in Paris. What were the first impressions of it?
Yeah, it's challenging, and like it's hard to explain it because I can't compare it to any other course. It's not like a New York, it's not like a Boston. It's hilly, but it's hilly in the middle, and the first I think it's like the first 15K is flat and the last 10K is pretty flat too. But the hills in the middle are big. They're really
heard they're
big
monsters.
Hills. I know, they're monsters. Yeah, the part when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, was that 30K? Like there's this downhill and it's so steep. I just was like, I'm like, okay, that's insane. I don't think I want to even try to replicate that in training because it was just such a steep, aggressive downhill that I'm like, if I try to do that in training, I think I'll actually get injured. So I need to find more creative ways to like callus my quads for that downhill pounding. So I want to get to the bottom of that hill in like a decent enough position that I can still like finish like strong. So I think that'll be important. Yeah.
What are the creative ways that you're callousing the quads?
Like I said, I don't want to try to do that hill a ton in training because it just was so aggressive. So I am trying to do like long downhill like training, just like on an easy day run, so that my legs don't get as beat up, and they are adapting to that. I'm doing stuff in the gym to prepare like my legs for it, but also my core. Like I want to feel like I'm running downhill like and feeling strong. And then in practice, I'm trying to also, when I'm running downhill, focusing on like relaxing a bit because I carry a lot of tension, like just naturally how I am when I race. And so I'm just trying to make sure I like relax my body and kind of just like practicing that downhill running a bit. Yeah, the downhills are the big focus, but also feeling good on the uphills too.
The more and more I hear about this, so I'm doing the all-comers marathon the night before you race.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
My training has not been going well. Just been out here 3 group runs. That's been the extent of my training. I'm in big trouble. So the more and more I hear about just how challenging it is, I start at 9 p.m. I might still be on the course by the time you guys start the next morning. Like it's going to be pretty ugly. But what did you take away from that trip? That sort of like, it wasn't just you. I guess like a lot of these athletes have gone out and it changes sort of like this whole dynamic where you have to think of this race as it's not necessarily going to be a very fast race up at the front. Like there's going to be a lot of strategy.
Yeah, I was like briefly talking to Pat about this as he was leaving and I was coming. I think the exciting thing about it is because it's such an extreme course, I feel like, or such a unique course, I should say, it can really shake things up, I think, at the top. So it's an opportunity, I think, if you're not like a 214 marathon runner, to go out there and compete if you prepare well and show up healthy. So that's what we're trying to focus on. And it's like striking that balance though, because you want to prepare for the hills, but like if I only like do all this crazy hill training and then I show up and I'm like injured on the start line, it doesn't matter that I did all that in practice. Like if I can't go out and like, I don't know, run like what I'm capable of. So it's like finding a balance of that, but then also like being like, could be a good opportunity. So that's exciting. Yeah, because we were talking to Pat too, and he said that he's able to kind of look at this kind of like a cross-country race and switch it up, and how this kind of bodes well for him because it's a bit different and he can look at it a bit different and grind through it. You're somebody who, I mean, as we were talking about your 10K, the brutal heat, you were able to be in the front pulling. Are you looking at this slightly different than regular marathons, and you're going to use your strengths and your ability to just kind of grind through it as an advantage? Yeah, if it's hot, I won't mind it. Like I feel like naturally I seem to handle the heat okay. And I do things to prepare for it too, but I do just think it naturally comes a little easier. And then for the hills, like this is my first hilly marathon in a while. I've done hilly other road races, like half marathons and like shorter distances, 7 miles, 10Ks. But this is the first like hilly marathon since the trials and in 2020.
Yeah.
So all my other marathons have actually been like very similar builds because they're all like flat and fast. So yeah, it's fun switching it up though, because I don't know. I think switching things up keeps the sport fun and keeps me like in it. Like I like a new challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, and knowing that like having, I think it's important to have confidence in the plan that you like choose going into this race and like staying in the start line knowing like you did everything you could. So I'm going to focus on my strengths and know I'm like, if it's hot, like, okay, like I know I can run in the heat. I've done it before, I can do it again. And then on the hills, like know whatever we like worked on in training, like having confidence in that, like that strategy.
Yeah.
I guess one of the factors that I guess you're still maybe trying to figure out too, because we talked about this in February in our like reflection podcast after the race, was the side stitch or the cramp.
Yeah.
Popped up again, I guess, like in New York.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been up with that?
Well, the good thing about keeping on getting those side stitches is it's like I've been able to rule a lot of things out. I actually thought it was just a marathon problem, so I was really shocked in the 10K. But because I keep getting them, like there's a lot of things that can cause side stitches.
Yeah.
And for a while, I thought there were like things I should pay attention to that now I'm like, okay, I actually don't think that's it. I do think it's the fact that I can make it go away in a race to me is according to my like therapist that I see, is like a sign that something biomechanically is off. And I can kind of see it. Like, I don't know why I didn't see it before, but like in my stride, like my arm swing's been a bit odd, like the last like little while. So I've actually been working on a lot of like strengthening for the hills, but also like strengthening to fix that now, like in my core and posture, to make it like easier for me to breathe during a race. Because that's actually something we've noticed in practice. Is my husband actually noticed it in a few workouts lately. He's like, your breathing's getting really shallow. Like, so something is breaking down a little bit and making that harder. And so now I have time. I've got like 6.5 weeks or whatever it is. And like that is enough time to like build strength and try to correct these things. So not ideal to keep getting them for sure, but they can really throw a wrench in things. But it's kind of like an injury. You got to figure it out and like be optimistic you're going to figure it out. So.
Yeah. What do you do in the middle of the race to like get rid of it?
I actually just have to slow down. That's
Really?
it. Yeah. Like I find if I slow down to like over 5:30 miles, it'll go away. And then I have to focus on breathing. Like have to like really focus on breathing in deep. But then I can make it go away. Like I just have to wait. And then when it's gone, I can like slowly pick it back up again. Sometimes in the trials, I was like massaging or like poking at it. Cause it feels like my ribs get kind of tight too, actually. But yeah, honestly, just slowing down, like it helps.
What do the next sort of few weeks look like for you in terms of just like, is it Flagstaff? I know you've been back Northeast for a bit.
Yeah.
What's the split?
I'm going to be in Providence until we go over to Europe. So I think with my coach's training, I just seem to do the best at sea level. I tried doing an altitude stint a couple months ago. And I actually, in hindsight, I'm like, I probably should have focused on just freshening up for my third marathon build. But, that's fine. We like learned that. Things are like coming around, but I'll stay at sea level and then I'll go over. We're going to go to Spain actually like 2 weeks before to get on the time zone. When we were in Paris, we didn't think the training there seemed that convenient and that easy. So we're like, we actually have friends that train there and they're like, we can show you around and tell you where to train. So we're going to go there and then I'll pop over to Paris like 5 days before.
No opening ceremonies?
No, but I'll be at the closing.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So for this whole entire build-up, does it feel like all that different? Like you're coming into this one as Emily the marathoner versus Emily on the track. Like, is that a mental shift that you have to make, or is it sort of like you look around and a lot of the people you race, like a Helen O'Beary, will be in this race?
No, not really, because I actually like switching things up. Like I used to like going from the track to the roads, back to the track. Like I think it's fun to just switch up distances, so I never really have to like mentally shift. If anything, if I only do one distance over and over again, I get kind of bored. So I'm like, so I'm looking forward to maybe like doing some shorter races again. Not bored. Bored's the wrong word, but like I think it's fun. So I like the challenge every race presents. And the marathon just feels like this big challenge still. So yeah.
Do you have any fun trips like planned? Like when the race is done, you get to spend some time in Paris and do some fun things.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay for the closing ceremonies. So stay through like that Tuesday, I think. And then Shane and I are going to go to the south of France for a few days, and so that'll be fun. had to keep canceling vacations after marathons for like various reasons. And then after Chicago last fall, we finally took a vacation. I'm like, this is the best. Like,
yeah, I gotta do this more.
I'm like, I want to do a vacation after every marathon.
Yeah.
It's so nice just like doing nothing.
Amazing. Well, Emily, we appreciate you stopping by. I guess this is going to be how many times have people used the Emily in Paris joke with you?
I got it a lot initially. I haven't gotten it in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the new season of Emily in Paris, like coming up here in Paris in just a couple weeks. And no, we're super excited for you. And thanks for popping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. We'll be right back shortly with our next and final guest. We've got Courtney Wayman and Diljit Taylor coming on together.
Need to get your ducks off.